Alright, so this is actually pretty surprising to me because I did not expect this to happen, but I was surfing through, I believe it was the Dave Rubin subreddit, which has some good content over there, and someone linked a video from SomeBlackGuy. Now, you probably know SomeBlackGuy. He is one of the SJW skeptic guys, and so I don't really know what he specifically deems himself as ideologically. He probably would deem himself like a centrist or something like that, or maybe right-wing. I really don't know, honestly, because it seems ambiguous to me. But what's certain is, like, these guys always play to the side of, you know, the anti-SJW side. So that's kind of the side that they cling to, you know what I'm saying? So that's, you know, something that's for certain. Sitting next to him is a guy named Chris Raygun. He's another guy who's exactly like that. He's an anti-SJW type who says he voted Bernie in 2016 primary, then, you know, abstained from the general election. But he, as well, has seemed to be this anti-SJW type, okay? And leaning on that and really making that his thing. So that's what seems to be the case, okay, about Chris Raygun. So whether or not how liberal he is or whatever, I haven't seen very much evidence. You know, he rode the anti-SJW wave as long and as hard as he could. But as you guys probably saw, Dave Rubin did this little video, or someone took this video of him, where he explains that he's no longer an atheist. Now, anybody could have seen this coming, because he goes where the checks go, right? Jordan Peterson, not an atheist, of course. He was touring with them, and Jordan Peterson makes like $7 million a year, probably more now, but he makes a lot of money. And so Dave Rubin sees that, and man, that is what he's into. You know, he said he was an atheist when he was interviewing Sam Harris. That really kicked off his show. But, you know, once he saw where the racks could go even higher, well, now he's not an atheist. So the only logical, you know, succession to this or step forward would be, you know, in like 2022, Dave Rubin's going to come out saying that he's no longer gay because Ben Shapiro has changed his mind and really showed him the future. Now, what you're going to see here is Chris Raygun's actually going to tell a story. He's going to tell a story about Dave Rubin, and basically this story about how Dave Rubin got pissed off at him for what seems to be a pretty dumb reason. Let's hear this out.
God damn it. So, okay. Is Dave Rubin conservative now? Is he like this, like, is that like, because I haven't been following
I think that's pretty obvious.
But like, is he like out?
No, you know what? I don't think he's conservative. I think he's just very pandering.
Yeah, okay, so
and the conservatives give him more money, and they watch him more. So he's like, okay, this is my audience. I have to pander.
Okay, so that's but has he ever? I wonder if he's ever like came out and said like, oh, I'm conservative now. I'm not.
No, I don't think
he still says he's like liberal.
As far as I remember, he's still going with the classical liberal spiel.
That's pretty.
So to step in and actually answer this question, Dave plays the ambiguous card on this because that's his token card, right? He's got a bunch of token cards, right? Former gay guy, sorry, he's still gay, but he's now a conservative, right? Former liberal, former TYT host, right? So he has all those cards, and he cashes in those cards for money, right? For these points. So Dave Rubin has said that, you know, he's a classical liberal, which is conservative in many ways. So he's essentially said he's a conservative, and he said that on another occasion as well. But for the most part, he does attempt to stay to that shtick of, no, I didn't turn right. The left left me, and I'm a classical liberal, and yada, yada, yada. So he plays the ambiguity to the max because he wants to bring in them racks.
That's interesting. That's really interesting. I just bring it up because
I could be wrong. I don't talk to him anymore.
I haven't talked to him
because he freaked out after I told him to just calm down.
What?
I tweeted, I can't, you'll probably find the tweet, I'll probably send it to you if I can find it.
Okay.
But I was like, yo, because he was like, he always tweets about like people like hating on him, and he's like, ooh, fuck you, or whatever. And I'm like, why are you wasting your time with these people? They just they don't like you.
Yeah.
That's not gonna make them like you, it just makes you look defensive, stop it.
Yeah.
He was like, you're my friend, you were supposed to be my friend or something. I was like, yo, you're off your good. And then he unfollowed me and then complained to Colin.
No shit.
And he was like, I don't like Chris's behavior. And I was like, you fucking pussy.
like
pussy.
Like Colin's your fucking dad?
Yeah, like Colin's my dad.
So calling you, and he's gonna get mad. You wait, Chris.
You better fucking spank him, Colin. He's out of line.
It's fucking ridiculous.
Take away his fucking lunch money.
You go in there and you kick his ass.
Like when Dave was gonna kick me off the PlayStation podcast because I didn't talk to Dave Rubin. I wasn't even mean about it. It was like the most generic, basic criticism you could give to somebody.
Yeah, it's like, hey,
calm down.
Calm down a little
People
bit.
are softies, bro.
Calm the fuck down. Like,
Some people are.
Chill out a little bit.
Some people are real snowflakes.
Oh, I like that. I bring him up because I have 2 tweets from him. One of them, I think actually both of them possibly were sent by. One of the things that Dave was complaining about recently is, and this is really interesting because Dave is gay as shit. He has a husband, right? Like
He's gay as shit.
He's gay as fuck.
He fucking, gobbles a knob like regularly. And so you think he would maybe have somewhat of an issue? Like maybe he's just not fond of Chick-fil-A. They were supporting organizations that weren't down with the gays or whatever.
Yeah.
And then so they pulled the 180 and they were like, oh no, we don't do that anymore. We support gay shit now. That's what Chick-fil-A did.
Right.
And then fucking Dave Rubin was like really upset about that. When he says the decision makes absolutely no sense. At Chick-fil-A was actually cool because it stood up to the progressive mind virus, which is cancel culture. I'm not going back to that sad, dry, pathetic Burger King chicken sandwich. No way, no how. Back to home cooked frying pan. And the weird thing is, like, he was so on board for Chick-fil-A before. It's such a weird thing where I don't understand this, man.
I don't understand it either.
I don't understand people like this. There's a lot of people that all conservatives
Like
that are all pissed about this shit.
I understand not caring because it's a fucking chicken sandwich.
Yes.
And I don't.
Sandwich.
I really, honestly, I think I've said this before.
So look, okay, the story that Ray Gunn tells here about, about the story about how Dave Rubin got pissed off at him and I didn't look for the tweet, actually. I probably should have looked for the tweet that he's referencing, but, him talking about that story I find to be very hilarious because obviously he overreacted and he didn't even understand what Chris was trying to tell him, and he took him as like a hostile dude who was sort of like coming after him. But by far the funniest part of that story is that, he told him he was gonna tell Colin Moriarty, or I'm not sure. I think that's how you say his name. That guy is a dude who you guys have probably seen the infamous clip where Dave Rubin had Colin on his show on the Rubin Report, and Dave basically says, lefties hate gamers because in video games you have to get stuff done. And, leftists, they don't like people getting stuff done. So that's why they don't like video games. Which is a just completely insane comment on many different levels, right? Those different levels being, since when do, lefties hate gamers? A lot of lefties are gamers. And then, what do you mean video gamers get stuff done? Like, you're kind of doing stuff in, a video game, you know what I'm saying? It's not exactly anything major, So, it's just the weirdest comment on the planet. Colin doesn't even know how to respond, but the idea that he's like, I'm gonna tell on you to him as if he's like his dad or something is absolutely hilarious. But the other thing that I find really funny from this, from what you just saw, is the sheer befuddlement from them, and I think it says a lot. This means a lot here. Seeing this means a lot, right? Because you and I, we know Dave's a grifter, right? But these people come from a much different background in terms of, let's keep it real, SomeBlackGuy is very much in the same vein and in the same lane as Dave Rubin is. So was Chris Ray Gun, because as I explained to you folks, he was the one who, really leaned onto the anti-SJW field. And so it's much different to see somebody like SomeBlackGuy or Chris Ray Gun being like, yeah, dude, Dave Rubin is a grifter and he's a dumbass. That's pretty significant coming from them. And that's like, if you needed any more evidence, which there should be absolutely no reason for necessity for, more evidence of him being a grifter and, a liar and a fraud for money and all this other stuff, right? Here you have it. You know what I'm saying? Here you have it. You have it right here of literal people who have, SomeBlackGuy's a complete, anti-SJW type. Chris Ray Gun leaned into it. So, watching their befuddlement is like, what is going on with this dude's Chick-fil-A stance? Like, what do you do? And, it just seems like they know, and they're explaining to us how much of a grifter this guy just absolutely is. I mean, I still can't get over this video. Dave Rubin, I'm no longer an atheist, and Jordan Peterson helped. So, you know, when he's talking to Sam Harris, and, you know, talking to Sam Harris kicked off his show, and that's what really made him popular, you know, he's an atheist. But then once he meets up with Jordan Peterson, and, you know, he sees all the racks that Jordan Peterson is raking in, then he becomes an atheist. He, you know, goes away from atheism. You know what I'm saying? So, that was really interesting. I was really surprised to see this. This is actually very, very entertaining. And I thought the story was absolutely hilarious. But, of course, I want to know your thoughts on this down below. Definitely let me know your thoughts on this down below.